When people think about health, they often think about the heart, the gut, or the brain. But one of the most important systems keeping the whole body alive every minute of every day is the kidneys. Most people only think about the kidneys when something goes badly wrong. Swelling, kidney stones, infections, dialysis, or kidney failure. But the kidneys do far more than make urine. They remove waste, control fluid balance, help manage minerals like sodium and potassium, remove acid, and make hormones that help control blood pressure, support red blood cell production, and keep bones healthy. So in this video, I want to go deeper than usual. First, I'll explain what the kidneys actually do in simple language. Second, I'll go through common kidney diseases and disorders, from chronic kidney disease to stones, infections, and genetic kidney problems. Third, I'll show what natural support really means for kidney health, including which fruits, vegetables, legumes, and nuts can help in some situations, and which ones can actually be the wrong choice in others. And finally, I'll explain which countries and regions are being hit hardest by kidney disease, because this is not just a personal health issue anymore, it is a global one. Section 1. What the kidneys actually do. Each kidney is made up of about 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Inside each nephron, the glomerulus filters the blood, and the tubule takes back the water, minerals, and nutrients the body still needs while removing extra wastes. In one day, the kidneys filter about 150 quarts of blood, yet only about 1 to 2 quarts become urine because most of the filtered fluid is reabsorbed back into the body. That alone shows how intelligent kidney function is. The kidneys are not simply draining fluid away. They are constantly deciding what the body should keep and what it should let go. The kidneys also do jobs many people do not connect to them. They help control blood pressure, help make red blood cells, and help keep bones strong and healthy. They also keep the composition of the blood stable enough for nerves, muscles, and organs to work normally. So when the kidneys start to fail, the problem is not limited to urine. It can affect the blood, the heart, the bones, the brain, energy levels, and the whole internal balance of the body. Section 2. Why kidney health matters so much. Healthy kidneys are quiet organs. You usually do not feel them working. That is part of the danger. Kidney disease often develops silently. NIDDK notes that testing may be the only way to know if you have chronic kidney disease, especially if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, or a family history of kidney failure. In other words, many people do not know they have kidney disease until significant damage has already happened. That is especially important because the two biggest drivers of chronic kidney disease in adults are diabetes and high blood pressure. High blood sugar can damage the kidney's filters over time, and high blood pressure can damage the blood vessels and filtering structures inside the kidneys. Once that damage begins, the kidneys may remove waste and extra fluid less effectively, which can then worsen blood pressure and create a vicious cycle. Section 3. Common kidney diseases and disorders. The biggest long-term kidney problem is chronic kidney disease, or CKD. CKD means the kidneys are damaged or have a structural problem and cannot filter blood properly. It raises the risk of kidney failure, heart disease, and other serious complications. The most important treatment principle is not a miracle herb or cleansing tea. It is controlling the causes of damage early, especially blood pressure and diabetes, and then using diet, medicines, and monitoring to slow further decline. Then there is acute kidney injury, or AKI, which is a more sudden drop in kidney function. AKI is a major global problem affecting more than 13 million people each year, and about 85% of cases occur in low and middle-income countries. That matters because AKI is often linked to infections, dehydration, toxins, or unsafe medical conditions, especially where access to rapid care is limited. Chronic kidney disease is a slow burn. AKI can be a crash, and sometimes AKI leaves behind chronic damage. Another very common kidney problem is kidney stones. NIDDK says the most important lifestyle step to prevent stones is drinking enough liquid, mainly water. But diet depends on the type of stone. For calcium oxalate stones, people may need to reduce high oxalate foods such as nuts and nut products, peanuts, spinach, rhubarb, and wheat bran. At the same time, NIDDK also says some people may benefit from replacing some animal protein with beans, lentils, dried peas, soy foods, and some nuts, especially in other stone types. So even here, natural healing is not one size fits all. The same nut that is fine for one person may be a problem for another. There is also kidney infection, also called pyelonephritis. This usually starts lower down in the urinary tract, often in the bladder, and then spreads upward into one or both kidneys. Symptoms can include fever, back or side pain, and painful urination. NIDDK is very clear that kidney infections need proper treatment, usually antibiotics, and that diet alone does not treat them. Drinking more liquid may help support recovery, but it is not a replacement for medical care. Another important condition is polycystic kidney disease, or PKD. This is a genetic disorder in which many cysts grow in the kidneys. PKD can raise blood pressure and may also be linked with cysts in the liver and blood vessel problems in the brain and heart. This is a good example of how not all kidney disease comes from diet or lifestyle. Some kidney disorders are inherited and need long-term medical follow-up. Nutrition can still help support overall health, especially blood pressure, but it cannot erase the underlying genetic condition. Section 4. Which countries and regions are affected more? Now let's step back and look at the global picture, because kidney disease is no longer a hidden niche issue. A 2025 global analysis reported that about 788 million adults were living with chronic kidney disease in 2023, making CKD the 9th leading cause of death globally, with about 1.48 million deaths a year. The same analysis estimated that around 14.2% of adults worldwide have CKD, but that burden is not spread evenly. The same 2025 analysis found that North Africa and the Middle East had the highest prevalence, at around 18%. The UK was estimated at about 11.9%, and Western Europe around 12.4%. A separate 2024 ISN Global Kidney Health Atlas analysis found a global median CKD prevalence of 9.5%, with the highest median prevalence in Eastern and Central Europe at 12.8%. That difference matters because it shows how the answer changes depending on whether you're looking at national data, regional medians, or absolute numbers. In terms of sheer numbers of people affected, the countries with the largest CKD populations in 2023 were China and India, with about 152 million and 138 million people respectively. That is partly because of their huge populations, but it also reflects the rising impact of diabetes, hypertension, aging, and environmental stressors. In low and middle-income countries more broadly, kidney disease is especially challenging because the burden is high while access to nephrologists, dialysis, transplantation, and even early testing is often limited. The ISN Atlas reports an 80-fold difference in nephrologist availability between low-income and high-income countries. There are also kidney disease hotspots. A 2024 multinational ISN GKHA study reported that 46 of 162 countries identified subnational CKD hotspots within their borders. These hotspots were reported across almost all world regions, and Latin America had the highest proportion of countries reporting them. Adults aged 18 to 44 in rural populations were commonly identified as the main groups affected. One especially worrying pattern is CKD of unknown cause, often discussed as CKDU. Reviews have described clusters affecting agricultural communities in Central America and South Asia, especially Sri Lanka and India, with causes still debated. Heat stress, dehydration, environmental toxins, occupational exposures, and other factors have all been discussed, but there is still no single confirmed explanation that fits every region. Section 5. What natural healing really means for kidney health. So what does natural support for the kidneys actually look like when we remove the hype? First, it means protecting the kidneys before advanced disease develops. NIDDK's prevention guidance recommends a general healthy eating pattern built around fresh fruits, fresh or frozen vegetables, whole grains, and low-fat dairy, while cutting back on salt and added sugars. It also recommends aiming for less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day. That kind of eating pattern supports blood pressure, blood sugar, and body weight, which in turn protects the kidneys. Second, it means understanding that kidney-friendly foods change by condition. For general kidney protection, fruits and vegetables are usually part of the answer. For PKD, NIDDK points to a DASH-style eating plan focused on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lower sodium to help manage blood pressure. But for advanced CKD, the picture becomes more individual. NIDDK says people with CKD may need to watch sodium, potassium, phosphorus, protein, and fluids, especially as disease progresses. So healthy foods like beans, nuts, tomatoes, oranges, or bananas are not automatically safe in large amounts for every kidney patient. Third, hydration matters, but even that has context. For kidney stones, drinking enough liquid, mainly water, is the most important preventive step. For kidney infections, lots of liquids may help support recovery, but they do not treat the infection itself. For some people with advanced CKD, fluid intake may actually need to be limited because damaged kidneys cannot remove extra fluid properly. So the real message is not just drink more water. The real message is match fluid advice to the condition. So if you want specific foods to mention in a kidney health video, the safest and most useful examples are these. fresh vegetables, fresh or frozen fruit, whole grains, beans and lentils for general prevention, beans, dried peas, lentils and some nuts as possible plant protein swaps and some stone prevention plans, and a warning that nuts, peanuts and spinach may need to be reduced in people prone to calcium oxalate stones. That kind of nuance makes the advice more credible, because kidneys are one of the clearest examples where the right natural remedy depends on the diagnosis. Section 6. Ancient traditions from old medicine to modern evidence. Kidney problems have been recognized for centuries in older healing systems, including Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and other traditional practices. The World Health Organization's current strategy on traditional and complementary medicine does not dismiss these systems, but it stresses something very important. Integration should be evidence-based, safe, and regulated. That is the right approach for kidney health. Respect tradition, but do not skip proof. That matters especially because herbal medicine can cut both ways in kidney care. Some reviews discuss possible benefits of plant-based therapies in CKD research, but other reviews warn that some herbs and traditional medicines can be nephrotoxic, meaning they can injure the kidneys, especially through contamination, wrong identification, unsafe dosing, or interactions with modern medicines. Kidney disease is one of the worst places to guess. If the kidneys are already weak, the wrong natural product can make them weaker. So the balanced message is this: old traditions were often right to treat the kidneys as central to health, but modern kidney care needs testing, lab work, scans, and evidence-based treatment. The best place where tradition and science meet is in the basics. Lower salt, steadier hydration when appropriate, less processed food, better blood pressure control, and not taking herbs casually when you have kidney disease. So let's bring it together. The kidneys are not just urine-making organs. They are blood filters, mineral balancers, acid regulators, hormone producers, and guardians of internal stability. When they are damaged, the effects spread across the whole body. Chronic kidney disease, acute kidney injury, kidney stones, kidney infections, and polycystic kidney disease all affect the kidneys in different ways. But all of them remind us of the same thing. Kidney health is foundational, and kidney damage is often silent until it becomes serious. And globally, the problem is growing. Kidney disease now affects hundreds of millions of people, with some of the heaviest burdens in North Africa and the Middle East. Very large absolute numbers in China and India, and important hotspot patterns in Latin America, Central America, Sri Lanka, India, and other vulnerable regions. The countries hit hardest are often the same places with fewer kidney specialists and weaker access to dialysis or transplant. That is the real lesson of natural healing for the kidneys. Eat wisely, control blood pressure and blood sugar, respect hydration, be careful with supplements, and never let the word natural replace diagnosis. The kidneys can recover from some stress, but they do not like long-term neglect.